Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel. I'm your host for LZ Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering All's Fair, that's currently streaming on Hulu or Disney Plus. This is season 1, episode 5. I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video, share it. Also subscribe if you are new to this channel. I welcome you on, and you can leave your comments below. Now let's get into this week's episode. Okay, so this episode is really Carrington Lane heavy, where we kind of get into more character development and we get into more of this. We get behind this whole tough exterior type person that Carrington does lead with. Carrington is driving her child to school, and she will be, what, 12 or so, I think? But her birthday is coming up. And first, Carrington says, you know, I'm really not going to be able to be there because of my schedule, being in court. And, like, are you okay with that? And then the daughter says, I told you I don't care. It's okay. Do what you do. Obviously, there is this level of possibly nonchalant, or there's been this level of gradual tolerance towards the mother because of how her mother needs to kind of handle life and do things as far as her career and all that, and the daughter just accepts it. As far as friends and who to actually invite, she only speaks about the nanny and then also Carrington's friend whom she fell out with. We're going to learn a little bit more about that. But anyway, Carrington's a little bit more worried about the daughter, especially after she gets out of the car. She didn't bring the donuts. She thought that this could be a nice gesture. Maybe you can get people from your class to come if you give them some donuts. And she's like, that's not me, So this really brings on this tailspin of emotions for her, where she's realizing, hey, I'm raising my daughter to be me. And I'm realizing that I don't like every aspect of me. And she's going to go down a bad path if I don't step in and try to save my daughter and also save me at the same time. Anyways, she goes to her court date. Whomever her client is quite ruthless and kind of like her, but in this moment, she's softened up and she's not really on her A game. Right as I think the counsel was about to present a case, whomever is on the opposing team was supposed to be speaking first. However, Carrington's there. She's looking at this photo of this guy along with her daughter and her, and obviously this is the friend, and she starts to cry a little bit. And then her client was like, you need to get it together, and that makes her go off on this girl and just basically quits the case. Outside, the other lawyer from the opposing team, guest star, she may be, I know she's not going to be a series regular, but possibly someone that's going to be on a lot more frequently, but actress Lorraine Toussaint, I may have gotten your last name wrong, I do apologize, but she's been in everything. And I was about to say, well, she's never really starred in anything, but that's not true. There was a series, I think it's called in Lifetime, like, was she on Strong Medicine back then? I cannot remember. No, not Stronger Medicine, but there was a show with her and one of the girls, the women from Designing Women, Annie Potts. Let me see if I can find that right quick, just to make sure. It was called Any Day Now. That's when she was finally able to co-star and be more of the lead along with Annie Potts. But anyways, yeah, beautiful woman, still looks good. Melanin don't crack. I said melanin don't crack. Anyway, they talk for a few minutes, and Lorraine's character hands her a card and saying, hey, if you ever need someone, give me a call. At Alora's office, they have a new client, and this character is being portrayed by the legendary Brooke Shields. She's been in everything, so I don't need to even go down the list of her resume. But anyways, she is seeking a divorce from her husband, who is currently hospitalized because he is slipping away due to Alzheimer's. At this point, she's feeling like she doesn't want to be responsible. We get a little Lifetime of their time together. She was a freshman in college at UCLA. He was in undergrad at UCLA. He was going to be, I think, a medical doctor or whatever. Before she was about to graduate, she got pregnant and then married immediately after. Whatever her hopes and dreams were no longer. It was about supporting this man, and she raised their daughter. She knows that her husband is gone. Like, he don't remember her or nothing like that, and she wants to be free. She wants to be free to travel and all that. But her daughter, who I think is the executor of the will or whatever, there's a prenup in place where she can't get nothing really. And she's trying to find out, is there a way to get a loophole in that? It's not to be selfish or whatever, but look, they've been together for over 40 years and still she should be awarded something. But anyways, the ladies are trying to figure out what they can actually do. It may have to do with something as far as really reaching out to the daughter to make something happen. But anyways, Glenn Close's character is there, along, I think really the whole staff was there at that point. But after she leaves, they kind of just more talk about the case, if you want to call it gossip or whatever, just comment on it. We find out Liberty, which is Naomi Watts, Liberty is Naomi Watts' character that she plays. They talk about, a prenup. She doesn't have a prenup with her boyfriend or her fiance at this point. What's his name? Is it Cedric? Something like that? I think it is. I'm still trying to learn everybody's name. But anyways, she said that I think that we'll be fine. Lo and behold, she gets to dinner or lunch or whatever, and he now has this prenup agreement that she wants him to sign because neither one has one. And for whatever reason, she just thinks that they are better together without it. Anyways, we didn't see it on camera, but obviously that there was some type of disagreement. Anyways, later on in the episode, she folds, I don't want to say fold, she said, look, to make you happy, I will sign the prenup, but I did put some tweaks in it. They weren't going to let a prenup stand in the way of them. She wasn't going to let him stand in her way so that she could be married to the love of her life. So, I will say that Liberty, at this point, even though it's episode 5, is kind of boring because you just kind of fade in and out. We hardly see you. I don't think that this is an ensemble cast. I really understand that. And there's going to be times where this story or this character is more of a heavy hitter and all of that, but it's just like, what are we doing here, especially with her being one of the main people that are within that lawyer firm. It's just like, okay, well, you're kind of forgettable so far. How y'all feel about Liberty? That's Naomi Watts' character. Like, I don't know. Anyways, Carlton and Chase. Chase is Allure's soon-to-be ex-husband. They're brainstorming at how to handle things or being strategic as to how to handle this whole divorce. Carlton is getting turned on by Chase. Chase then starts putting the moves on her. And I think in ways to try to desensitize him as to back up, she starts talking about his man bun and all the grease is up in there. He don't wash his hair. So then he takes off his shirt and all that, and we see all of his goodness down there, and invites her to wash his hair. She does. He tries to pull her in to try to, sleep with him. Yeah. And she ends up just turning it down, despite the attraction. I'm like, that's your lawyer for one, Chase. Like, what are you doing? You make no sense whatsoever. Now I'm starting to believe that Chase does have this sexual addiction. Because you will smash anything. And that's not something to knock Carrington with, but it's just like, or Carrington, whatever you want to call her. But it's just like, dang, you have no boundaries whatsoever. And anything that you want to stick your into, you're going to do it. Anyways, he sends her on her way. Carrington gets drunk. And she's driving, singing, or whatever. The police pull her over. And I think she thought she was going to get away with it as she was trying to seduce the police officer, but he wasn't having it. He had her do some tests as far as if she was drunk, because I think she was speeding and swerving throughout lanes and singing and all that. She couldn't walk a straight line, and she did the breathalyzer and failed. She was arrested, taken to jail, and then our good girl, Miss Lorraine, whatever her character's name was, came and basically bailed her out. We find out that she has a mutual disdain for Allura, and she wants to help Keratin to take down Allura. I would love to know what Allura has done to all of these women. I mean, I kind of get the grudge that Keratin has, but at the same time, you're successful and you're doing your thing, so who cares? What did Allura do? I mean, because right now, it's like Allura is the hero. The hero of the series, so, because people are coming at her. What has she done to other people? Hopefully we get those answers pretty soon. Speaking of Allura goes and visits Milan. That's Tiana Taylor's character. Another character that's getting lost. Like, I'm already like bored of her character because you're forgettable. We hardly see you. Anyways, she goes to Milan, and regarding this baby, Tiana's trying to weigh on if she wants to tell Chase about it or not. Allura says, well, by law, you don't have to tell a person that you're pregnant or whatever. But then she's like, well, is this the right thing to do? And Allura was like, it's the right thing to tell him. Even though you're keeping your own secret that you broke the law and forged his signature to impregnate yourself. I don't know. But anyways. So Milan ends up calling Chase. He's at the boxing ring or whatever. And she says that she's pregnant. He has hope that possibly he could still be a parent. And she's like, no, this is me. This is my baby. And I'm going to handle it on my own. And that's that on that. I already talked about Liberty. We can go on. Well, do we want to? Yeah, let's talk about back at the office, Allura's office. Detective or officer comes. And now they're about to confiscate all materials, all technology, because we're finding out that, at least with Allura's equipment, people searched for Lloyd. Lloyd is the person that ended up SAing Emerald last episode, which I thought was a great episode. And she was the first one to be interviewed, or you want to say, yeah, I'll say interviewed. Because, and she asked, why am I being the one? Because this was a group effort. She said, well, by your cell phone ping, the last cell tower was near his place or wherever he was offed. So, at this point, they're going to talk with the others, but she's the first one on the list to see if she was the one that actually did it. I honestly feel like it is Dina that did do it to that man, but I guess we'll not know. Maybe we'll start getting some flashbacks. From what I've been told, that there are 10 episodes, so we're only halfway through the season, so cool. From there, we see Car. She's with her daughter, and she basically tells her, you know, hey, we're going to go to Disney World or Disneyland, and also there's an application I'm going to fill out for you to go to another school. Another school with like-minded individuals like herself. However, it's highly competitive, so you're going to have to write this paper, and you got to do things to really grab the audience's attention. The daughter says that, I want to talk about the time that you told me that you were a cutter. I said, oh. I threw whatever I had in my hand at the time, I threw it down. I said, what? I first thought about that scene like, Car, you really like trying to traumatize her? But possibly it was to be honest and to empower her daughter. However, I think that was the intention. However, I think that she knows that there are some missteps in how she has actually carried on with her own daughter. So at the time, she's just really invoking her daughter to write a thrilling page. And she's saying, well, when you told me about cutting, how I've been afraid since then. Because it's just me and you. And what if you decide to actually go all the way and you unalive yourself? I said, Lord Jesus. I think that was too much. But again, that's what the part where we're finding out that, okay, Car, to herself, like, I think I may have just said too much to her, and I got to get myself together. It may not have been right for me. It may have been right for me to tell her, but I should not have put her in this place. We also find out why Car wears gloves. because she did cut herself. She was a cutter, and now she hides those wounds and those cuts with gloves. So I said, okay, cool. Character development. We're seeing the layers. Later on, Carrington goes and visits her friend that she let slip away. They have this type of Will and Grace relationship. As you know, it could be toxic over there and all that good stuff, but through and through, they are good friends. The fallout from what happened between Carrington and why she's not friends with old dude is because his husband, she ended up reporting his husband as being negligent towards her daughter. The husband took the daughter hiking without her inhaler. And he was like, you're being unreasonable. It was the backup inhaler. She was always okay, da. But anyways, I guess this person was a drug addict and all that. The friend did divorce the husband, and now they're free. And he was like, what are you doing here? Because she was asking, like, why did we fall out? And of course, what I just said, she did cause the rift and all that. But anyway, she said, look, he asked for an apology, but he didn't want to. Well, he was like, is this your way of apologizing? Like, she just said, look, I'm here and I'm trying. You know, I got to save my daughter. And we find out that the friend was a sperm donor. So he's not her dad, but her biological dad. Meaning she doesn't even know that the sperm came from him. The daughter doesn't know that the sperm came from him to make her. So that's interesting. I'm sure that that's going to blow up. I don't know if it's going to blow up in her face, but it's going to be quite shocking when the daughter hears it. This girl has had to grow up really fast. This girl has had to have been in the cocoon because of the life that her mother leads. Like, at least she's 12 and possibly can turn things around for her daughter, but it's interesting. I don't know if I really like Car. It's interesting to peel back the layers of her to just find out what makes her tick. But I don't know. It looks like they're going to start over and try to repair the relationship. Back at the office, Brooke Shields' character and the daughter, they sit down and they have a heart-to-heart, and I think that they've come to some type of understanding. No, the daughter has not said, okay, we're going to stop this prenup thing or whatever. However, it's a start, and possibly something beautiful could happen. Gina goes home to her husband. He needs another pain pill, and he breaks it down to her, saying, Gina, I spoke with the doctor, and this is about it, and we got to get our affairs in order. Of course, she didn't like hearing that. She made sure that she didn't show her emotions to him in that way as far as being upset, but she went downstairs to go make some tea and just started throwing stuff and trashing her kitchen because she knows it's over. A lot of the stories that happen, I know, that are relevant in some of the main characters' lives. So I know that Brooke Shields' character resonates with what Dina was going on. Despite her, what I felt like was being judgmental, Dina decided to stick with her husband. Those are her vows. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. Other people have unconventional ways, or just some people are just tired. But Brooke Shields' character did tell her daughter, like, I'm not leaving, Daddy. I just need to be free at this point. And I don't want to wait until he's gone. And I'm not holding out hope that he's going to come back to us. It's inevitable. So that was it. Dina closed this out. And one thing about Miss Glenn Close, she's going to give us a dramatic scene. And I'm loving that. Again, Mr. Ed O'Neill, who I call Al Bundy, off of Married with Children. Anyways, it's cool seeing him in a romantic state in this couple, in a dramatic type of state. So it was pretty cool. In a way, I'm ready for him to go on the pass because I want to see the type of person Dina's going to be after this. But we got time for that. But, y'all let me know about this episode and how you feel about it. Again, I'm kind of like Milan's character doesn't really need to be there at this point, and Liberty doesn't. And again, I'm understanding that everybody cannot be pushed to the front all at once with this ensemble cast. But it's like, y'all got to make sure that they're still in mind. And with it being first season and already the 5th episode, and they're just kind of there. It's just kind of like, Liberty had a more stronger presence during the first 2 to 3 episodes. And it's just like, okay. I mean, Milan was a part of this very scandalous storyline, and it's just like, it's dying down, and now she's just going to be a baby mama. Okay, what else does she have going on? But anyways, if you feel the way I feel, cool. If you don't feel the way, let me know. And help me see your point of view. I'm open because it's a very new show anyways. And I'm not headset on being locked in on my decisions. I just see how things are going thus far. But anyways, I appreciate you for coming to my channel. Like this video, subscribe. And until the next one, peace.